See and hear me well. We have our Q&A session where I'm going to be answering whatever questions you have. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Also, this is going to be kind of like a session where I'm going to be sharing some insights, some things that I have in mind while I'm having my one-on-one sessions with students. So I'm also going to be sharing a little bit of that today, but mostly it's for your questions. So please let me know what kind of questions you have, what course you're currently taking, and what issues you've been having some problems with so far. Let me know if you can see and hear me well, and we are about to begin very, very soon. First of all, give me a thumbs up or something that you can see and hear me well, because I'd like to get to know. Cool. Okay, awesome. Because like before, sometimes I just had a few situations where I would be just like talking and, well, I would be getting no comments, and then it turned out people just didn't see me or didn't hear me for some reason. So please let me know what course you're currently taking so I kind of know which direction I should head our conversation, and also let me know if you have any questions so far. While I'm going to be waiting for your comments, I'm still going to be sharing a little bit of information that I have for you guys. So first of all, I was already mentioning it during the previous broadcast, but it turned out that still there are a lot of people who are asking the same questions again and again. There is this thing, it's actually for the TOEFL takers. If you're taking the TOEFL test and if you're taking our course for the preparation for TOEFL, there is this website which we recommended. Like right now it's called the TOEFL Glider, and it still works, but I just found that a lot of you are having issues with that. So instead of the TOEFL Glider, I would definitely suggest you to take the KMF. I'm gonna send you the link right now. And KMF is like a very cool platform, especially for reading and listening. So it's cool because it's free, first of all, and it allows you to do some practice with reading, speaking, and writing, as well as listening with all 4 sections. I would definitely recommend it for reading and listening, as well as the writing section, because the writing section is pretty good there. The speaking section, well, if you want to, you can use it, but if you don't, you can just use the online versions of the speaking section that they provide online on YouTube. I can also send you one. If you go just to YouTube and you type TOEFL complete speaking section, you're going to have a variety of them, and this one is an example. So if you want to do more reading, listening, make sure you practice with the KMF and you do the test there. For those of you taking IELTS and TOEFL together, just for all the exams, also pay attention to the writing section. Because again, what I see during one-on-one sessions, like a lot of people are submitting their writing assignments, a lot of them are writing essays, and mostly all the essays have pretty much the same mistakes. This is going to be articles. So we have this very simple rule about articles. So we have 3 types of nouns. We have countable nouns, uncountable nouns, and plural nouns. So for countable nouns, we will always have an article. And this is a very typical mistake when people are omitting an article. They're not using it because for some reason they think it's not necessary. Yeah, so for example, if you say something like a proposal or a party, a house, we would usually, in your essays, you would usually need an indefinite article. Now, if you're talking about something specific, like you mean this specific word, the one you already mentioned, you can use the definite article, like the house I told you about. Even if you don't say I told you about, but it's kind of hinted, it's implied already because of the context, you are going to say the house I told you about. This is for one thing. Now, another thing is that for plural nouns and uncountable nouns, you would usually use no article at all in 90% of cases. You just don't need it. So you're going to go with just your article like people, individuals, consumers, buyers for plural nouns, or water, motivation, joy, happiness, whatever, knowledge, no article. So if you generalize, and you're usually going to be generalizing on your writing, I'm going to answer your questions within a couple of seconds. I just want to finish for those of you who are going to be watching it in the recording. So if you're going to be practicing this, and if you're going to be writing an essay, so usually you're gonna be doing like some generalization, because this is the main purpose of an essay, is for you to do a generalization, is for you to say like, well, usually people have this kind of situation, or people have that kind of situation. Make sure you're using no article at all, because like this is what I see all the time. We're gonna write something like, the people need to do more sports. Are you talking about some specific people? No, these are just people in general. Same thing like the individuals consume, let's say, a lot of goods. Any specific individuals? No. So you just say consumers or individuals consume. Or for example, buyers have this tendency of doing whatever. So keep that in mind while you're going to be writing your essays, because this is something that I'm correcting in every single essay. I'm going to take a look. Is this a website to practice TOEFL test? Yes, it is. It is like a Chinese website. So the first page is going to be in Chinese, but you can actually use Google Translate, and it's going to automatically translate everything. It's just the first page. And besides, I mean, actually, I'm using it without Google Translate because it's kind of obvious. You click on the TPO, and the TPO is the number of the test, like TPO 49, TPO 48. So you choose any number of the test. And then you're going to have the sections located exactly in the same order as they are on the test. Like, first of all, it goes with, what is there first? Reading, yes, reading, listening, speaking, and writing. And you just click on the one you're interested in, and then click on continue, which is like this blue button, and then that's it. It's going to redirect you to a completely Chinese-free website where you will be able to have exactly the same kind of tests that you're going to get on the TOEFL. And what I love about the test as well, like about the platform, is they give you the old format of the reading section. And for some people, it's like more negative, like, why would I be doing the old format of the test? Right now, it's like shorter. Yes, it is shorter. But then once you get an experimental section, it's going to get much longer. So instead of 3 passages and 30 questions, you're going to get like 4 passages and 40 questions. Now, this one gives you 14 questions after every passage, which means altogether you're going to get 42 questions, which kind of prepares you for the experimental section. So on the test day, you're not going to be stressed out, you're not going to be overwhelmed with the number of tasks if you get an experimental section, and you will definitely get it in either reading or listening, so please use that one. I think it's just like awesome. And this is like kind of a free alternative to Best My Test. So if you feel like your level is not very good, like you want to do more vocabulary practice, you can obviously use Best My Test. It's great. But if you feel like you kind of have a better level, or for example, you don't want to spend a lot of money on that, you can actually use KMF, and together with vocabulary, you can use the Bayron's Essential Words for TOEFL, starting from page 51, because they have tests there, and it's very convenient. That's about TOEFL IELTS. About general English, again, I have a lot of questions about how to improve your speaking, how to improve your conversation skills, and this is something that I also was mentioning before, but I'd like to mention once again. Make sure you find any resource you're particularly fond of, and make sure you use it on a daily basis. For example, I'm going to give you a small example here. We could have Randall ESL listening. I'm gonna send you the link. This is the difficult level. You can also choose intermediate if your level is intermediate, or you can choose easy if your level is easy. And what you do, you watch, let's say if you're not really into listening, you can find any video you're going to be particularly crazy about. For example, for a TOEFL, that's going to be Crash Course. I love them for TOEFL. They're super academic, and at the same time, they're kind of fun. So, okay, let me send you an example. So this is going to be ESL for those who love listening, or this could be something like Randall ESL Listening Lab for those, Crash Course for those who love academic English. Whatever you choose, you either listen to a conversation or you watch a video, and then you try to summarize it in English using 5 6 new words that you wrote down while listening. Actually, for the ESL, like the listening link I sent you, I love that they give you like the idioms. And after the listening exercise, you also have some vocabulary practice. And then you can click on See Listening Script. And you can take a look at the script. You can see the new words highlighted there. And then at the end, you're going to have, at the end of this passage, you're going to have a vocabulary and sample sentences list. So you see a word, you see its definition, you see its sample sentence. And you can actually practice by just, for example, taking the sentence. Let's say the first one I have on the list is like, you need a lot of water to sustain yourself. And there is going to be the word sustain. And you try to make some examples. Just think about, okay, what can I sustain? Like sustain yourself. This is one example. And then you can try to drill this word, like repeat this sentence several times. Like you need a lot of water to sustain yourself. You need a lot of water to sustain yourself. Then you can make a negative. For example, you don't need a lot of water. You can ask a question, yes, no question. Do you need a lot of water to sustain yourself? That's a very good practice. And this way, this vocabulary becomes your active vocabulary. And then you can also, again, summarize the listening, say, okay, the listening was about blah, blah, blah. And you try to use these new words as much as you can. What preparation time would you recommend before taking TOEFL? Well, it really depends on your level. I would say if your level is already advanced, if you don't have any problems with academic vocabulary, I would just do, again, depends on what kind of advanced level that is. But a week or 2 weeks is going to be more than enough, considering the fact that you have enough time to dedicate on a daily basis. It's going to be like something 2 hours and more. And then you actually do section by section. For example, you focus on the reading section first, you do a couple of days, and you do like 3-4 reading passages, complete reading sections on a daily basis. And then let's say you do a bit of listening, and then you keep a table with your results. This is something I always recommend. Keep a table with your results and make sure you write down every single result you got for the complete section. You can do the reading and listening yourself because like the platforms, they give you the score. For the speaking or writing, please make sure you find somebody who's going to give you a score. So for example, what I usually do like with my students during one-on-one sessions, we kind of have this table and they write down the reading, listening results, reading, listening results on their own. And then I'm going to be writing down what kind of scores they're getting for speaking and writing sections. So this way you see where you are, and then you can also estimate approximately once you're ready to take the test. But I would say if you're advanced, about 2 weeks. If you feel like you struggle a bit more with academic vocabulary, you want to do more practice, in this case, you can use Bayron's essential words for TOEFL. You can do more reading, listening. Yes, and at the same time, whenever you're doing reading and listening, write down the new words that you get, like about 3-4 new words that actually prevented you from getting the right answer. And I would do it like about 3-4 weeks. And then again, if you feel like you're intermediate, then it's going to be a bit more. So it really depends on your situation. Okay. Any more questions? Okay, I assume you're taking the TOEFL test, and this is the course that you're having. Okay, I love it that during Q&A sessions, there are usually not too many questions, although I'm always like encouraging people to ask more. Okay, great. Yeah, we also have the Telegram chat, so if you're interested, you can always ask some questions there. And actually, also, another thing I really suggest you to do, if you actually have access to the Telegram chat, you have a lot of other students there, and a lot of them are preparing to the same exam. And actually, a lot of them have pretty much the same level. So you can actually organize small groups, like, and I saw a few people, they were doing it in the chat, and I really, really encourage it. It's like you organize a small group where you can actually exchange ideas, where you can do speaking sections together. I love this thing. For example, you just take one topic, like should you study online, should you study in a traditional classroom? And then you actually just start answering this question one by one. Like the first person is answering, and let's say the other two are just listening and writing down what he or she said wrong. And then you're going to share your notes, and this also helps you in a way that you actually learn to hear other person's mistakes and what another person said in the wrong way. And then this is going to help you. This kind of gives you this chance of evaluating another person And this feedback allows you to improve your own performance. So this is something I would definitely suggest as well. And then you can actually come up with some sample answer together, just script it, read it several times out loud, and then do it again. And then again, every single participant is going to be listening for the mistakes of another one and then correcting it on spot. And this is going to be very useful. So something I would also recommend, just make sure you make use of this community you have. And the same thing for writing, like, well, you write an essay and you give it to your peers and you do this peer-to-peer assessment when you're like exchanging ideas. And that's going to be something I would definitely suggest as well. I just started the course. I do have access. Yeah, so you can actually ask other people and just say, guys, who want to do practice of speaking? I think a lot of people do, because like speaking is the most challenging section. And also, if you have the Guru package, you have a consultation with me, like 30 minutes consultation. So please, whenever you're going to be booking it, do not book it one day before the test, because if it's not at all convenient. And also all the people who are going to be like watching this and recording, if you have the Guru package, if you have a consultation, please make sure you schedule it in advance, because usually we're going to either do the reading or do the speaking. For example, do a complete speaking section, give you a score, or check your essays and give you a score. And you literally need to have more time after the conversation, so after the consultation, so you can actually improve your skills. Because otherwise, I have a lot of people who are booking it on the last day. And whenever I'm asking them, okay, but when will you have a chance to actually implement all of these things we talked about? They're like, oh yeah, I didn't think about it. Make sure you do it in advance, because this is something that is like super important, and you will have more time to actually work on the things that we covered, and also you're going to see where you are at the moment and what exact steps you need to take in order to improve your performance. Since we have more like TOEFL related consultation today, another thing that I would definitely recommend is doing typing tests. I did also mention it previously, but I think it's always good to repeat because we have some new participants here and there. So we have Fast Fingers website, which is super cool in terms of preparation for the writing section. And it gives you several levels of tests, like typing test advanced. You can start with typing test, then move on to typing test advanced, and spend about 5 minutes every day on improving your typing skills. And also this is going to help you to improve the spelling, because very often I see that, actually I'm spelling mistakes myself sometimes when I'm typing too fast, because right now we all have Grammarly, we all have a lot of different apps that help us and correct our typos. Now on the TOEFL test, you're not going to have it. And this is very important to make sure you don't make a lot of consistent typing mistakes and spelling mistakes. So you also have the custom typing test. And for example, you can just paste whatever article you're interested in. Or let's say you wrote an essay and your tutor corrected this essay and you have the corrected version. You can paste it to the custom typing test and you can actually, well, start typing. You can randomize it or you can just keep it in the same order and just start typing on a regular basis, because this way you will be able to remember better how you're supposed to write spell particular words, what grammar constructions you're supposed to be using. So all the corrections that your tutor made will be implemented in your future writing, and this is going to be more effective. So what advice can you give if you need to prepare English for work? Okay, this really depends on the field that you're interested in. I would actually start watching videos on the topic that, your work is somehow related to. Also, I really love just for business. There are a lot of cool videos business on YouTube that I would go for. Okay, well, the one I would suggest is The Economist, for example, but you can also find the channel you're particularly interested in and something that would be kind of somehow oriented on the topic that you're planning on working in. And then what you do, you kind of watch the video. It should actually, I think ideally it should be like a person who works in the same sphere describing his or her experience, what kind of challenges he or she's having on a regular basis. So if it's like medicine, like find a doctor who's talking online. And then what you do, and this is what I mentioned before in this talk, you summarize the video and you use this 5 or 6 new words that you learned from the video. You can actually watch it first without the subtitles and then watch again with the subtitles, write down 5, 6 new words. Do not write 100. Make sure it's like 5 or 6. This is something you will be able to remember. And then you summarize the video using these words. And then you do it again. You may also do like self-presentation in front of this like mirror, or for example, recording yourself on the phone where you start speaking and you try to talk about yourself. Or if it's like preparing for an interview, you can take the questions you're likely to get on the interview and you answer the question, and then you record yourself, you watch this recording, you try to find some mistakes, and then you actually record again, and then again and again and again, as long as it sounds perfect. This is something that I feel it really depends on kind of sphere you want to go into. Also, there are many apps for business English, for example. Okay, like this one, welcome. Or like the free version I love is this one. Okay, it's British Council. It's a bit more British English, but they actually talk about corporate training assessment. They talk about business magazine. They talk about podcasts for professionals. So there's kind of a lot of different things you might be doing, and this is something helpful that I would suggest doing as well. Okay. Any more questions there? Let me know. Okay, so we're going to be calling it a day for today then. I wish you all the best of luck. We actually have this broadcast, like this Q&A sessions every third Wednesday of a month. So if you're interested, if you have more questions, please feel free to join. And the next